Okay, good. Welcome tonight. Okay, tonight we're talking about something unusual, finding balance. What's neat about finding balance, and this is kind of important, we're going to talk about finding your highest values, and it's not exactly what you would think, because when you talk about values, you think, yes, I have high values, or I have low values, or that, but it's basically what you're passionate about. But also, if you look at Galileo's quote, passion is the genesis of genius. It's brilliant. So if you're passionate about it, you're going to be following an inner spirit. But also true, I like Patrick Henry, fear is the passion of slaves. So if you're fear-based, that's also a passion, that it's going to be drawing you towards it. That's that inner drive. But which one's going to make you actually more successful? The Babe Ruth quote is just something I thought was cool. Hard to beat a person who never gives up. It kind of regulates my life. Okay, so when you look at this, what's values? Now, values, you can't confuse it with ethics or morals, because it's not that. It's what you value the most. It's actually, and it's different for everybody. This is why it's really hard for couples. It's really hard for people to blend their values. Because if you start blending your values with someone else, you can't really adjust what you think is primary importance. The greatest look at values is that the support equals the challenges. Okay, like anyone, is there any parents in here? Okay, poopy diapers versus smile. Poopy diapers, challenge. Okay, is it worth it to get that smile? Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. Sleepless nights. Horrible, okay, miserable, not going anywhere, okay, because you got the baby diaper bag and the car seat and everything else. Yeah, but it's so worth it, because to have the joy. And so when you look at this, your highest value system could be anything, okay, but it is also involves inspiration, where you're drawn to it, okay, where you don't have to be forced to get up. Like if when I was a kid, you know, on the day that you're going to go fishing and you got to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning, how many people would get up? Yeah, I mean, you're at 3, you're shaking, you're saying, please let me go. Okay, but on a school day, if you don't want to go to school and you know, at 7 o'clock, you can't pry yourself out of bed. That's because the lowest value, the lowest part on the scale requires motivation. And motivation is an outside-in influence, and that's the lowest value system that you're going to have, where you have to do it. And this is also where relationships and everything, it can fall anywhere along that scale of the highest motivation, where you're inspired to do it, where you don't need to be motivated, or the lowest value, where you have to have motivation. You have to go to work because you need the money. You have to go to work because you know people would yell at you. Okay, and it also has to do with lifestyle changes. Okay, you have to go through drug rehab because your family's bugging you. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, something. But so when we look at this at our highest values, what do you view as happiness? Okay, and this is, again, this is different for everyone. Happiness could be solitude. It could be a cool Rolls Royce. It could be just physical pleasure. You know, it could be, you know, any one of these. Financial success, physical appearance. You could be obsessed by working out, and that's your entire world. Okay, success. What do you view as success? You know, free time, ability to enjoy free time, financial success, materials. I got to tell you, when I moved onto my boat, I got rid of all of my knickknacks and bric-a-brac and everything. And it was like cathartic. It was just like, wow, I'm freed up. So for me, material possessions, that's not a big deal. Okay, obviously I drove a 30-year-old car for years. So when we look at this, and also, when you're dealing with people, look at what they value with honor. It's like my youngest boy, when he was 12, he would play video games in the summertime, not on a school night, till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm a pretty permissive parent, okay? And so he'd be bent over like this. Now, are there supports and challenges when you're playing video games? I don't know. Not a lot of video game players in here? Let me tell you. You die. You're fighting other people around the world. You get frustrations. And I would continually hear all night long, oh, oh, ah, yeah, oh, you know, so it's got highs and lows. Okay, so you get out there, you get killed immediately, then you got to be reborn and you got to do this stuff and you're hunched over. He viewed the supports and challenges of that activity. It would have been cool if I made it, though. Okay.
Okay.
Rewinding back. Okay. And that's the biggest, the highest values are when supports equal challenges. And to blend, and we're going to talk a lot about this in September too, because if you're blending two relationships, okay, with like male-female or business or anything like that, if your value system is out of alignment, and which it has to be, because no two people have the same values. No two people value happiness or success the same way. No people have the same motivation. Honest to goodness, if I was forced to play video games, the challenges are not there. I suck. I'm there for 30 seconds and killed, and I don't find it enjoyable. Okay. And does anybody know what the Charlton Heston movie is? Okay, Ben-Hur. Roll well and live, number 42. Okay, so when you look at this too, the difference between inspiration and motivation. Okay, you guys can sit over closer. Okay, inspiration, it comes from in. It's like inspire. It's like spirit. Motivation comes from without. And when you look at this, and I love Dr. DeMartini's, victims of your history, not masters of your destiny. And that is true, because we base a lot of our thought patterns on what we viewed in the past. It's like, you know, last talk we were talking about, it's not what happens to you, it's your perception of what happens to you. When you smell that beautiful baked bread, you think of grandma or when you were hit by the bakery truck. Okay, you know, I mean, both can have a negative on you. So to identify what you value, you've got to do it without prejudice. Okay, what do you spend your time on? What do you spend your money on? What do you spend your thoughts on? You know, what are your thought patterns like? What do you fill your space with? You know, it is your value system, material possessions, which is okay. Is it esoteric stuff? What energizes you? I got to tell you, I mean, my passion is to teach, study, learn, travel, okay, and get pressure off the nervous system. Nobody has to tell me to get up in the morning. On the weekend, it's not like, oh man, I got to study. It's like, oh, cool. You know, I get to learn stuff. So what drives you? And you can see, I mean, motivation, this is one of the definitions out of the dictionary. It's to, you know, avoid pain and get pleasure, that you're motivated. And those are the basic primal instincts. So when you look at this, it is primal. We've always had inspiration and motivation. I mean, the caveman that's drawing the picture on the wall, he's inspired to do this. He may have a religious ceremony behind it. He may have something, but that causes inspiration. The other group of cavemen, they're just trying to get something to eat or to protect themselves. Universe, if it's out of balance, will never work. Okay, there's always. The universe is like water. It's going to find its own level. If you're extremely, completely passionate and you don't agree with the supports and challenges, it's like me. I'm super motivated to study. I'm super motivated to learn and teach and communicate, okay, and to help people. Are there supports and challenges there? Yeah, it's hard to sit at a chair. Sometimes when it's sunny outside, you know, I want to go play. So I do a lot of studying on the boat so I can study and then I can go kayaking. Okay, so, but I look at the supports and challenges as equal. When you look at this, when you're out of balance, when you say, oh man, she is so perfect, she is amazing, she is wonderful. What you're doing at that instant, you're compromising your highest values for hers or his. You're putting that person on a pedestal and it's not going to work. There's going to be developing resentment. The highest value system, you have to see challenges and supports as equal, but this is in every aspect. This is in relationships. This is in businesses. This is why I get a lot of couples that have been married 30, 40, 50 years, and I'll say, yep, your hubby says perfect. You know what the answer is? Not my husband. Not my wife. And I said, I know, but they accept their differences and challenges, and they've been doing it for 40, 50 years, and they found harmony in blending that support and challenge aspect of it. Okay, does that make sense? Arnold Schwarzenegger, did he work out a lot to get that body? Okay, okay, he had a different lifestyle. If his lifestyle remained that way, would he have been able to accomplish the movies or the politics? Or no, he couldn't spend 20 hours in the gym. Okay, so his value system changed, and they do change depending on what your needs are. And so look at the balance. If you can approach reality, and reality with a view of looking at both the supports and challenges with not a prejudicial or the rose-colored glasses. Now, to change, and this is one of the toughest things. Anybody that says, "Oh God, I really like to work out more," or like I've got a relative who's trying to tell the family, "Yep, I'm ready to go through drug rehab now." How many people think he was really ready? No. Okay. Yeah. You don't even know him. But it's true because if somebody is sincere, you realize that they're going to do this not to just get support. So any challenge that you have, what I want you to do is the first thing, write down between 50 and 100 benefits of that. And I know it's tough, but what's the benefits? And now one of the best ones is, what's the benefit of a drug addiction? It's kind of like what's the benefits of being overweight? What's the benefits of, so when you look at this, what's the benefits of drug addiction? Are you accepted by a group of people? Oh, dude, you go underneath the overpass at Santa Ana, you got a bunch of meth heads there. How you doing? Okay, so you got acceptance by a total group of people. Do you get immediate satisfaction with most medications or most drugs? Pretty much. It's pretty easy to do. Is a lot expected of you? No, so you're kind of blown out. There's no risk of failure because you're not really required to do anything, except don't drop the pipe or the needle. Okay, particularly if you're sharing the needle, that would be social faux pas. And you have decreased failure potential. So there's a lot, and it's tough because people would change if they realized that there's the benefits and the risks. Some people, particularly if they're a drug addict, they're not realizing the negatives. Do you understand? Because they would change. It's like, how many people smoke? Are they going to stop smoking? No. The benefits of the contentment, the joy, the doing something for themselves. They know it's not good for them, but the benefits far outweigh the negatives. And then if you want to adjust your value system and in order to have a healthier lifestyle, after you write down the benefits of whatever negative lifestyle that you want to change or any lifestyle choices that you've made, write down the antithesis of that, okay? And this is how you're going to actually change that brain. This is how you can break the addictions. So there is acceptance by a certain group of people, but there's also a prejudice put on drug addicts by the majority of society. Okay, is there or is there not? I mean, I look at drug addicts as the person taking 10, 12 prescriptions. I mean, I'm totally prejudicial against that because they're altering their body with chemicals that's going to kill them. Do they get negative attention? Absolutely. So once you write down, and it may take a couple of days, it may take a week to write down the benefits, okay, of illness, the benefits of disease, the benefits of depression, the benefits of anxiety. And when you start looking at this, because if you've had a long-term illness, there is a source for that, and there is a reason that you're holding on to it. And then you're going to find out that until you realize the antithesis of the benefits, the opposite of that, you're not going to change. Okay, does that make sense? And the change is brilliant because a lot of people, like what keeps people in the negative? It's you get rewarded. Okay, this one patient of mine, her mom was about 450 pounds. She had no problem whatsoever But if you're standing and you're you know, almost 500 pounds with the knees hurt and everything. Yeah. Yeah. So it worked for her. She got a lot of attention. Okay, can you cook me dinner, honey? Can you take out the trash, honey? Can you do this? So she got a tremendous benefit to it. And what's neat is, in this society, it's also learned helplessness. If you're doing good and you see somebody and they say, you know, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, good, fine, really good. If they're having a bad day, what are they going to say? Man, you should have seen the traffic. It was incredible. There was an accident there. And then I moved and I got the pain going down. Okay, you know this, right? How much enthusiasm do they say when they're feeling good? Oh, good. How much enthusiasm do they say? Because what do you get on the news? You know, do you get like, man, gosh, you know, out of the 7 million people in LA, there were 400,000 random acts of kindness. And we're going to go through each one. Okay. No, there was a shooting on the 405. You know, oh, wow. Okay, you know, what's going to attract your attention? And so when you look at this, and you've heard me say this before, you know, flat feet don't run in the family. Most things aren't genetic. It's genetic expression. But it is a learned helplessness. And you get comfortable with the negatives. And we can actually change this. And you change this by changing what's your self-talk. Now, this is part of your handout. Okay? This really is. And this one I totally recommend. When you're filling this out, be honest. Now, if each spoke of this wheel was round, okay, it would reel. It would roll. Everything would be fine. And when you look at this, now you can rate yourself. I rated myself on this, and that's pretty much how my life is now. Okay? I'm pretty happy here, there, everywhere, but it's not exactly round. So I've got to work at some stuff. Okay, and then when you look at this, so if your personal growth is good, but you're not spending, you know, the 22 hours a day studying like I'd like to because I got to sleep some, it's not exactly 10. Fun and recreation, I have a good time 3 days a week, but it'd really be nice if I took a vacation. So, you rate it down where you are, because this is going to identify areas that you need to adjust in order to live by your highest values. Because if you were living every aspect of this by what you value, you would find out that each aspect is a 10, because you're living with passion. You're living with intensity. You're not motivated by it. But why do people stay in a bad relationship or a bad job or not doing things that they know they want to do? It's because it's a fear. I mean, it's called a dance of decision. I mean, it's kind of like what you fear most with keeping it. Yeah, we don't get along. You know, she only yells at me when she's sober, and luckily she drinks all the time. Okay. You know, but when you look at this, it's a dance of what you fear most and what you want. Yeah, I'd really like to have that new career, but oh God, there's all this fear. And your life is not in harmony then. Okay, you're not living with it, because the challenges and the fear, your highest values are the support equal the challenges. And this is why you've got to do those exercises to identify what your value system is. What do you spend your time on? Okay, what inspires you? And keep asking yourself this over and over. We're going to go over a couple more exercises. This is a perfect example. This is an MRI of an absolutely perfect liver. Now, I'm related to this gal, and I'm not going to tell you who she is, but we're talking over 5 years. Every time she would upset, she would have a pain in her stomach. And she would... Anybody in here ever get upset? Yeah, okay. So have you ever heard pain in my neck, a pain in this, a pain in that? God, I'm so upset, I just developed a headache. You know, your body's going to have certain responses depending on the sympathetic stimulus or the autonomic nervous system. Well, she was told years earlier that she had hepatitis C. In fact, she was on her way to get chemotherapy. And so every time she would get upset, her stomach would hurt. It's hepatitis. Every time, it's hepatitis. It's like, honest to goodness, I'll get patients in that say, you know, Doc, I'm feeling really good. My blood pressure's normal. I'm sleeping good and everything. But honestly, when I move right like that, My neck hurts. I'm going, good God, you're not with Cirque du Soleil. But what he's doing, he's not focusing in on all the good stuff. He's focusing in on the one area that causes pain. Same thing like her. Now, if you're focused in on that pain, guess what happens to your stress level? It goes up. Oh, God, that pain might be that. That pain might be. So we end up taking her out and getting her an MRI. Okay, and we got their blood test, and we're going through with the radiologist. I'm sitting there, she's right here, and I'm saying, look, that is a perfect liver. This is what a good liver looks like. We could use this as a good example. There's absolutely no evidence of hepatitis. The blood test, perfect, absolutely perfect. Guess what? After that, every time she got upset, because it didn't cure her being upset, but it did cure her perception of that stomach pain, has no longer hepatitis. And then knowing that that pain was just there because she was upset or frustrated or angry, it never escalated. So this here, disease is brought on by a belief system, and you can change it. Now, 5 steps to change your self-talk, your story. Because this is, I mean, who are you? And if you say, well, you know, it's like my relative, oh, you know, I'm a drug addict, I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm that, you know, that, and, or let's say you're unemployed, or you're employed, or you have this. Everybody has their own story that they tell themselves. And to find balance, it's impossible if your story is disconnected with reality. So there's 5 steps you got to do. Number 1 step, and this is to change your story. See it how it is, no better, no worse. Okay, so, and this goes on everything. She left, he left, I'll never love again. How many teenagers in here said that at one time in their life? Okay, good. My brother. No, you're back in love, aren't you? I know, dude, I know. That's the whole thing. It worked. Yeah, you go up and down. Okay, but when you look at this, that's seeing it not for what it really is. Okay, so number 1. Better or worse. Okay, you've just been diagnosed with the disease. Really? Are you? Really? Or was that disease just a group of tests that are categorized? Okay, you know, business failure. Really? Is all businesses gone? Or, you know, so you have to look at it as it is, no worse than it is. And then get to the real truth and deal with it. I had a patient a few years ago, and this is back before 3-dimensional printers. He was actually a carver for a printer. Okay? That's an industry gone overnight. Okay, vinyl records, industry gone overnight. Okay, so you're looking at this, and these are industries that were in for, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, or hundreds of years, and they're gone overnight. So it's not like I'll never work again, but you got to see it for the truth, the real truth, and deal with it. And then number 3, get a strong vision. And this is where that intuition, this is where when you identify your highest values, where the challenges and supports, okay, are equal. Once you get that vision and you follow it with inspiration, it's unstoppable. And get a role model. This is going to be vital. Okay, and this is also on your handout. Now, what I like about this is, I mean, you can get like Warren Buffett or God, who's a good role model? Jimmy Buffett would be good. Okay. You know, let's see, Obama. I don't know. Okay, no. Okay. You know, get somebody that you admire and honor. But what's even more important, what if you used yourself as a role model? Anybody in here ever have a challenge? I'm the only one? Okay, good. Okay, what was it like? Okay, you survived it. Okay, what did you do to get through that challenge? You know, whether it's financial or relationships or disease or whatever. Okay, are you a better person now for going through that challenge? Absolutely. You know, you found that strength inside of you. And if you use yourself as a role model, you're going to actually go by a mirror and smile. And you're going to say, that's pretty cool. You can survive anything. And when you look at this, you know, look at it reality. Because if you're coming up with changing your lifestyle, if you're going to be following your inspiration instead of motivation, use yourself as a role model. And then this one, give more than you receive. It's absolutely true. That's true in everything. Every business, every relationship, everything. Because what's it like at the first part of a relationship? Honey, sure, of course I'll take the trash out. Let me help you with your shoes. Okay. You want me to take the trash out? I worked all day too. Okay, your arm's broken? What's the deal? Okay, it changes. Okay, but you know, if you give more, I mean, and all the time, life is so much better. And this is how you reprogram the unconscious mind. Okay, when you look at this, we've got two things. This wheel is going to help. Identifying your values and what you put in. Okay, those are all going to be ideal. But no, we've got these two minds. And without the mind being in control, you're not going to, it's like a ship without a rudder. Okay, and it's not going to find its direction. The unconscious mind gets the job done and it's programmable, but it's programmable through repetition. Okay, and this way we can program it into whatever we want. And the conscious mind is obviously not that smart, okay, but it sets goals. It's more creative. Now, you can change your state, and again, this is on this sheet as well. When you change your state, it has to do with volume, intonation, and language. Like, you're not going to be standing in a body position like this because this is decreasing oxygen. It's down. This is not like, I'm happy, I'm feeling real good. Anybody believe me? No. I suck. I've had the worst day of my life. My son was just hit by a car. No. He actually was. He's going to be coming in here pretty soon. Okay, but you know, so when you look at this, your body posture has to match your knowledge, okay, and what you're doing. So when you look at this, body posture, intonation, and it's the same. This is what I do on the way to work, and I do it halfway through the day too, because, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, my son really was in a car accident in San Francisco. He's flying down right now, and because I don't know any chiropractors up there, otherwise he'd be going there. But in order to focus in that, okay, I've got to change my mindset to, you know, focus in on to help people. So I say, you know, I'm a conduit of God's healing energy. It flows from God through me into my patients. 100% of the people I touch receive that healing energy and they get that correction. Okay, and this is how you start the day. And it sets up an energy, but it also sets up the vibration and vitality. So this is absolutely, absolutely vital. Also, to find your balance, you've got to break the walls. And how you break them, you got to sit down with a piece of paper, write 100 things to do, be, or become. Okay, and this is going to break the limits. If you're a paraplegic in a wheelchair, can you do a marathon? Yes, you can. If you've been smoking for 40 years and you say it's impossible to quit, somebody puts a gun to your head and they say, you like the cigarette, I'm going to pull the trigger, you're probably not going to like the cigarette. Okay? It's just finding the different motivation. You can do anything you can dream of. So this, I want to, I mean, and it's going to be fun because to write 100 things, it's really hard to do. I mean, you could write 20 or 30 of them. You get to 64, 65, it's like, damn, I don't know. Okay, cooking class in Germany. Do I like German food? Yeah, I'll put it down anyway. Okay, you know, cruising down the Rhine. Okay, and I just had some patients do that, and I thought, I didn't know you could cruise the Rhine. How neat is that? Okay, and then you know, learn Mandarin. Yeah, I know a little Mandarin, why not? There was a practice for sale when I first graduated in Peru. It was a practice with a home underneath it, and he was going to Tibet to study meditation. Wow, study meditation in Tibet. So, and then after you do this list, and this is an exercise to change your mind, to find that inspiration. Okay, once you do this, you write a 1, 5, and a 10 next to each one, whether you want to get 1 year, want to accomplish it in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. And then you're going to actually, yes. Oh, I thought I wrote it down. Nope, I didn't. Okay, and then this is what you're going to make your vision board out of. Now, This gal here, I've used her before. She had a tumor the size of a grapefruit in a 3-month-old fetus. Her sister, who had her whole family get daughter recovered from asthma, the husband recovered from high blood pressure, said, yeah, you got to go see the chiropractor. Chiropractor, I got a tumor in a child. Okay, that's, well, they gave her 2 choices. We kill the kid and we take the tumor, or we take the tumor and you're going to have a deformed kid. So she comes in here. We had a diagnostic ultrasound at the time so we could see if the kid was doing better and the tumor was growing or shrinking. After about the first month, it had shrunk down by about half. After the second month, which means the kid was 5 months now and the tumor's getting smaller. After about the third time we ultrasound, the tumor was about the size of a grape, and we said, hey, that's enough high-frequency ultrasound on the kid. Kid's born perfect, that's him, and no tumor when the kid was born. So when I say do 100 things to do, be, or become, does that mean that you could have your body absorb a tumor, that you could eliminate cancer? Yes. Okay, you can do anything because your body's more energy than matter. It's just changing it. This is the power of I am. This is like ideal, and which is really frustrating because I wanted this in the handout tonight and I forgot. Okay, I know, bummer. Okay, but this, remember, the unconscious mind is programmable. This is how you program it. If you're depressed or like my relative, a drug addict, you've already mastered your state no matter what's going on about you. So how many people have mastered depression that you know of? Okay, and I know that's a weird term because are they depressed all the time on a regular basis no matter what happens to them? Okay, money, wealth, power, fame, beauty, okay, but they still kill themselves. Okay, we've heard these stories all the time. So they've mastered their state, their mental state, no matter what the outside circumstances are. So I'm telling you that you could change that. If you start changing, I am trusting, I am proud, I'm amazed, I'm fascinated, I'm intelligent, I'm articulate, I'm accurate, I'm brief. And you do this, I am, the power of I am of saying this, it programs your subconscious, it actually changes how your brain is wired. Emotions are chemicals produced by how your brain is wired. This can change those chemicals. This absolutely changes it because you already know how many people are saying, I'm frustrated, I'm guarded, I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm depressed, okay? Hear it all the time. I'm in pain, this is, no, okay, so this is a programmable aspect. Write the I am, and Donald Hebb, he's right. Neurons that fire together are wired together, and this is how you can rewire it. This is again, when you're doing your vision board, you got to have 3 aspects of it. It's what you truly want. How do you find out what you truly want? How do you find out what you're inspired? Look at what you value. What do you spend your time on? What do you surround yourself with? What do you call happiness? Is happiness driving a Rolls Royce? No, not for me. Is happiness sailing a cool boat? Yeah, that resonates with me. I'm good with that. Okay, do you like a lot of cool stuff? Not really. Okay, do you like a fast car? Yeah, I like a faster car. Okay, but the vision's got to be passionate. It's got to drive you. You got to have the reasons, but the why behind the goal. If you want the new job or the relationship or the house, it's not the house. It's the why behind it. That's the fire. That's the fuel. Okay, it's why do you want to have that boat? Do you want it just like a big hole where you pour money in the water? That's the definition of a boat. Okay, a boat is a hole in the water where you pour money. Or do you look at it because it's freedom? How does it make you feel? What's it like? Do you want that car because it's a sense of joy and status, and you like people looking at you riding the Rolls? One of my best friends got a Rolls. Okay, he's a brilliant guy. I think it's crazy, but he likes it because it's the best, and in his mind, he feels better when he's taking it. Do you want to have that nice hairdo? The nice dress, the nice clothes. Obviously, I'm not the clothes guy. So, and then you review the vision board every day. And again, this is just because the subconscious, the unconscious mind is programmable. This is why you review it every day. Now, this is a good layout for it. I think, yes, I did put this in the handout. Good, so I didn't totally mess up. Okay, this is part of the handout. And there's a lot of different ways to lay it out. And this is really, so wealth, family, wisdom, health, success, travel. And you could lay it out any way you want. What I'd recommend is going to Google or Bing or whatever you want and type in something. Like this one, type in travel. This might not resonate with you, but I'm a scuba diver, okay? I'm a sailor. I mean, I love hiking, the Zion, the Arches. These are all places that I just enjoy. You know, my ex-wife, when we were going through Lamaze class, and this is the kind of stuff I was like, in Lamaze, I don't know if you know this, but you're supposed to visualize something like a happy place. And I said, okay, now breathe deep, think about something nice like a lake or anything else. I said, what are you thinking of? She says, a shopping mall. Honest to goodness. And I go, oh, I should have seen this coming. Okay. She's a really nice ex-wife. We get along really, really good. But you can see a different value system right there. Okay, like this one here, wisdom. When I pick people who I think are wise and brilliant, they don't have to be real people. Okay, they don't. I understand Yoda's not real. Okay, anybody know the guy on the bottom? Kill Bill 2, Pame. Ooh. He's cruel, but I like him. Okay, just, and then, okay, when you get that, you remember this, you're programming your subconscious, you're finding balance in a crazy world. And this is what you do. Now, if you have a beautiful relationship, I recommend nonviolent communication. It's brilliant because it's a method of listening beyond the words. It's fantastic. But understand that everybody learns differently. I mean, they're either kinematic, audio, visual, there's so many different senses and ways that you can communicate. Some people don't like touch. Some people do. Some people, you know why I'm upset. I don't need to tell you. Okay, does that scare anybody or just me? Okay, because, and a lot of times, I don't know why you're upset, I don't know. Okay, and guys are really being honest when they don't say they don't know, because they really don't know. So treat your partner as if you're having a relationship challenge, as if they were the ultimate partner for 90 days. That's like the greatest gift. So bring home the flowers, do the foot massage, cook the dinner, whatever you do to express your love and joy. And what's neat with that, if you're having a relationship challenge, you're going to have the best, strongest, most beautiful, most supportive, most loving relationship in 90 days, or you'll be happy that you put forth every effort and you're not going to be upset with it. It's just beautiful. I've ended a lot of good relationships that way. No. No, it works really good, okay, because you can leave guilt-free. Now, this guy here, I mean, you figure if you're a quadriplegic, you need a tube to breathe, you can't do anything. What life would be a challenge, yes? Huh?
Take your pen.
Oh. Sorry, I guess it sounded like probably Morse code. Sorry, Laura. Okay, this is one of the most challenging aspects because every doctor has told him that his potential with Lou Gehrig's disease is death. Okay, when I'm working on him, my intention is to restore as much vital force energy as this can. I think that he could start walking again. And after 8 weeks, he's now up to breathe in 2 minutes on his own, 2.5 minutes on his own, where we disconnect the machine. He can now move part of his legs. He can start swinging them a little bit. He's had a couple of backslides where he's developed some lung problems, and that's what they do when you're on a breathing machine. They develop lung infections. Every time they give him massive courses of antibiotics, he takes a backslide, but he keeps going, okay? And he may recover from this. I don't know. But what's neat is, I mean, he recovers, and then, but his mind, I keep talking about his potential, and he keeps talking about his potential. So I mean, I'm just putting up the worst, most depressing, frustrating situation that I could imagine. And not only does he have love in his home and love in his heart, but he's got potential, and he realizes that potential. So, he's mastered reprogramming the subconscious no matter what. Okay, now, so this is what you need to find harmony. You need to have a healthy nerve supply. And this is a nerve supply not just with the brain communicating to the body, but understand that your perception is going to change how your body views the world. So if your perception is anger, frustration, and hurt and pain, your body's going to be manifesting it. You really will. You're not going to find balance. We've got patients that come in all the time that say, you can't correct a scoliosis. It's impossible. You can't regenerate a disc. We had a patient that flew out from Switzerland who's a dancer. No, my doctor said, I got to put ice on my feet. I said, no, the feet are drying up. Let's put some heat. Let's get the nerve supply. And so to change their perception first, then we change the nerve supply. And then everyone needs to get regular exercise. Okay, I mean, I only bench press a couple hundred people a day. Proper nutrition. Okay. If man makes it, you don't eat it. Okay, sufficient rest. This means if you're not deep sleeping every night, you're not going to get health in prayer and meditation. This is where it comes in. This is where you have that attitude of gratitude. And in fact, that's what we're going to be talking about the first Tuesday in August. We're going to talk about the law of gratitude. The law of gratitude. It's the most powerful force, more powerful than the law of attraction, because without the law of gratitude, you don't get anything. Okay, nothing happens in your life. Now, all of these are going to be on the owner's guide site, so you can refer back to it, and I'm going to fix the handout so it has like all the stuff I wanted to put in there. So thank you very much.